my lungs just went... gave away everything.
I accidentally waterboarded myself at work today.
What? Were you in Chris's dungeon?
No, just to keep my salt levels up, sometimes I make myself a little glass of salty water.
Right, okay.
And the salt doesn't always dissolve. So I do that. You neck back and shot it. Yeah.
Right.
I did that, and I sat at my desk, obviously on my own. There's no one there this week, and I did it, and the whole of it went into my lungs. And I couldn't breathe. I was breathing. I was going like that for about 30 seconds, and I thought I'm fucking gonna die in a minute. And then afterwards I thought, I wonder if that's what waterboarding feels like, because they basically say it feels like you're drowning, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have you ever seen like them do it? Like,
well, not in person.
No. I watched a Channel 4 journalist go and have it done to him under controlled.
Wow.
And they just hold fabric over your mouth to keep your mouth open, and then constantly pour water?
No, hardly, literally a cup of water. Literally, this guy just poured a cup of water on him, and he fucking lost it.
I think because your jaw's being forced backwards, your mouth's being held open, you can't swallow properly or something, so the water goes
you don't need
straight
to have
towards
your mouth
the
open,
lungs.
mate. You just, they just put cloth over your face and pour water on you, and
I think your tip slightly down towards the ground,
and it will just cut
Here
off
we are talking about
it cut off your air supply straight away, right?
Wow, what a way to start a podcast,
because the cloth just goes.
It's got dark quick, didn't it? I did something stupid at work. Waterboarding's bad, isn't it?
Welcome to our podcast
where we review things like waterboarding.
This week we are reviewing different forms of torture. Apparently, no, we're not.
My favourite's nipple clamps.
Well, depending on how bad the stuff is that we've been watching, that could be true, couldn't it? We'll see.
Welcome to the Torture Cast.
Welcome to Torture Review with the... No.
We stopped saying what episode it is. We forgot months ago, didn't we?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think about something... Trying to think of something funny involving torture devices.
Mate, we've just done 5 minutes on funny torture. You don't have to think of anything. Just your job's to keep it moving.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Review with the Crew, where we don't talk about torture implements. We talk about stuff that we've been watching on TV and at cinema and stuff just recently. Hopefully you caught our Ready Player One review last week, which actually came out really nicely. I was really impressed with it. Did you guys listen to it?
I haven't had a chance yet.
It was a little bit better than the film, yeah.
That's official now. Our podcast is better than the complete works of Steven Spielberg. We basically made the Schindler's List a podcast just 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely. It's true.
And this will be our Jurassic Park.
It was all in black and white.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We've probably definitely recorded 4 or 5 episodes of a similar quality to Hook. A bangarang.
Anywho, so we're going to just have a quick chat about what we've been watching on the TV and the cinema and stuff.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I always go first. Someone else can.
Ross, go on then.
I'll go first. I'm doing this weird thing at the moment where I keep watching old films that aren't really... I don't know if I spoke about this. Yeah, I probably have. I'm having to unnecessarily compromise, so I just get up and watch movies I want to watch at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the opposite of that is the compromise movies are sometimes I can't be bothered to argue. So last week we watched Notting Hill.
Why?
And again, it's a Richard Curtis movie.
I've never seen it.
It's better than you think it is, because when those movies were coming out, you were a bloke going, don't watch stupid shit like that, or something to that effect. And like Love Actually, it's fucking brilliant.
Love Actually is amazing.
Fucking hilarious.
I don't like any of those films.
But Adam, you don't like anything.
No, I love
I
loads of
wouldn't
stuff.
expect you to like it because it's not Ghostbusters.
I don't get the appeal of those. I don't know.
Because sometimes all you want from a film is just to feel nice at the end of it.
Yeah.
Love Actually was in my top 10
I haven't seen that one
for a long time.
I mean, Love Actually is it's the shit, mate.
It's the pinnacle, isn't it, of these emotionally but
Notting Hill's very good.
Movies.
Notting Hill and is it the 4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Yep.
Those two I didn't like. The Love Actually I've never seen, so I can't comment.
You've got to
on
watch
that
it. You actually have to watch it. It's on every Christmas, mate. How can you have not seen it?
Because I'm probably watching Home Alone or Star Wars.
Oh, sorry, Ghostbusters.
It's not a Christmas film.
Yeah, but you don't have to watch Christmas films at Christmas because most of them are shit.
Gremlins.
Elf is not shit. Gremlins is not shit. Home Alone is not shit.
Elf is terrible.
Ah, it's great fun.
Anyway, did you enjoy Notting Hill?
Yeah,
Tell us about the story. What goes on?
Right, so
as it's a review.
What's funny about it, the funniest thing about where it starts now is you're like, oh, this is before all of the gentrification of London happened and like people could afford to live in these houses and stuff, and now you watch that movie and you go, you own a bookshop, you would not be living in that house because that house is probably worth £2 million now.
Right.
But it's quite a good plot. Hugh Grant is just a dude who runs a little bookshop on travel books in Notting Hill.
Okay.
And Julia Roberts plays, like, her character is whoever the most famous actor in the world is at that actress in the world is at that time. So, like, if you were going to make this movie today, it would be Jennifer Lawrence would probably be her character.
Right.
And she just walks into his shop, and then they keep bumping into each other, and then they fall in love, and then they try and make a relationship work while it's really difficult being famous.
Ah.
And yeah, it's just good fun.
I see. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if it's that good, if it's as good as you say, and I've never seen it, maybe I can put that on this evening's watch list as well. So at the moment, we've probably got a choice between Hardcore Henry or Notting Hill. It's the missus's turn to decide. I don't know which one it's going to be, really.
It's on Netflix, and it is better than Four Weddings.
Oh, really? Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
Is it the one with
better than Four Weddings.
The British actor in his pants in the middle of the street?
The Welsh guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, okay.
Yeah.
It is, I have seen that one then, yeah.
Yeah, he's funny in it as well. But like all these films, a lot of the supporting cast are really well written. Like, they're funny, hilarious. That's where all the jokes
I remember enjoying his character in it. I don't remember enjoying anything else.
How many weddings out of 4 would you give it?
No, you can't do that. You have to score it out of 5.
So 4 weddings and a funeral out of...
It doesn't matter.
It does.
You're scoring it as an amount of weddings.
Yeah, but it's always out of 5, isn't it?
No, it's out of 10.
It's 3.5 to 4 weddings out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and then weirdly, again, this is more fucking compromise. No, just another short one. Anna goes, I want to watch The Bodyguard, which is just not a great movie. It's all right. It's really cheesy.
Is it not a remake?
I don't know. It hasn't held up very well.
I'm going to look that up while you talk.
It's just a shame that Whitney Houston's dead. That's all you really get out of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But the deal was, because she's not seen it, and she was like, I want to watch The Bodyguard, and I said, on one condition, the next film we watch is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, because that is a fucking brilliant movie. And then it also makes you realise that at one point Kevin Costner was the biggest movie star in the world.
And then he did Waterworld.
By miles, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then he did Waterworld. That's what ruined him.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you think about...
I've got gills.
And then the other thing with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves and The Bodyguard is the 2 songs from it were like number 1 for like about 3 years or something.
Yeah, true. Everything I Do It For You was like the longest running number 1 in the UK for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think the same thing with The Bodyguard as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
it's not a remake, sorry, but they were talking about a sequel, so that's why I had.
Right.
Which Kevin Costner says he'd be up for being in.
He's the best thing in Man of Steel, isn't he?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I quite like Man of Steel, actually.
No.
I like Man of Steel.
It's more a guilty pleasure than you actually like it.
No, it's not. I really came out of the cinema quite thrilled and quite excited.
Okay.
I really like, what's his name? Michael Shannon as General Zod. Very, very good choice of actors, I thought. But yeah.
Oh, he annoys me. So I just think he's always his character from Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
And everything.
He's not the greatest actor in the world, but he made a really good General Zod. And he's very good in The Shape of Water as well.
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that.
Get on it.
Our list.
It's amazing.
And then the only thing that I want to talk about that's what we've watched that's really good, because Anna's never seen it before, we've started watching Parks and Recreation.
Oh, so good.
So good. You forget how good it is.
What's Parks and Rec?
how it just gets better.
It's basically like working for the sort of people I work for, but in an American government. So it's basically a woman and a team that run the parks department.
It's the
They deal with parks and recreation.
American Office,
Right.
but it's about the civil service.
Okay.
The
Specifically,
parks department.
the Parks and Recreation Department.
It's so good.
That sounds like it should be terrible. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? It's probably one of the best American comedies in years, I would say,
And,
personally. I love it.
And it's just brilliant watching Chris Pratt go from a caricature of Adam Gattrell to the biggest movie star in the world
Yeah.
over the course of 7 seasons.
Yeah,
brilliant.
To the point where they have to make a gag like in season 6. It's like, how did you lose so much weight? And he just went, because Chris Pratt's character is so insufferable in like season 1. He's a fucking dick.
He's like me at 16 at the very beginning, and then by about season 3, he's like...
You at 16?
You just no. He's just you just love him to bits.
Hang on, wait.
You
I
go
was thinking
from
about that the wrong way around. You're
Yeah.
still exactly the same as you were at 16. Anyway,
I've calmed down a lot.
So, and then he just, and his character arc is brilliant because he just grows on you and grows on you. And while this is happening, he's also like seasons 5, 6, and 7. He's also becoming one of the biggest stars on the screen.
Yeah, of course.
And he goes from being horrible and one of the worst characters ever to Chris Pratt, how he is now, where he just oozes charisma, is super handsome and like pretty ripped. And mate goes,
But
how
he
did
does
you lose
so
much
many-
weight? And he's like, I just stopped drinking beer. And he's like, how much beer were you drinking? It's like, I guess a lot.
He does some amazing stunts in it as well, just ridiculous slapstick stuff, and like runs top of the head, runs head down like into the side of an ambulance,
head first into
top of his head, just straight into the side of an ambulance, and it's just beautiful. Like, yeah, the outtakes for each season of him alone.
Maybe I'll put that on the watch list.
Amazing.
It's not. I had to steal it off the internet because it's not on. It might be on Amazon, but I don't have Amazon.
It's not on Netflix, but you can get it.
But also, it's career. It launches people's careers, doesn't it? Like Aziz Ansari's. It's sort of the first thing. It's how he became famous.
Nick Offerman.
He's fucking brilliant in it.
Have you seen Nick Offerman's stand-up?
Yeah, I just watched a bit of it, but
it's so weird, but I love it.
And all the characters are amazing. Like
his real-life wife playing his ex-wife in it. She's brilliant. Amy Poehler. She sort of helped get her from just another Saturday Night Live person to, oh my God, she's actually a very, very good comedian. And
there's so many characters, so many people turn up in it. You forget how many characters are yet.
Obama's wife.
We're on season 2, and we're still so many characters to come into it.
Yes, so many cameos as well.
It is excellent. Have you ever seen The American Office?
No.
It's like that, but better. That's
much
very,
better.
very good.
Okay. The mistake I made with The American Office is watching the first episode only.
It is it's like a line for line remake of and it's awful. The pilot is shit, but the show is brilliant. It just goes on for 2 seasons too many.
Okay. Whereas Parks and Rec is they do it perfectly. They kind of do what they do, and then the last series is like a goodbye to them all, but done so well.
And they do that thing where they don't try and stretch out the last season. They just went, we've only got enough for 11 episodes. Yeah, because it's normally most seasons 23 because they're only 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Season 1's a bit flat, but it's one of those shows that if you give it the time it needs,
season 1 sets it up, doesn't it?
It just gives you
everything.
better and better and better.
Cool.
Until it finishes.
What have you been watching, Adam?
I rewatched Ready Player One
again.
Second time. A friend of mine who struggles with groups of people and spaces and stuff, has real difficulty with things like that, asked me to go, so I went. And I disliked it even more the second time.
Right. I did say I thought I would find it troubling the second time around.
Do you know what? The second time around, I felt even more angry about certain choices and decisions they've made because he's not read the book.
Right.
And we came out and he asked so many questions because of things that weren't explained properly in the film. And then I sat and chatted to a couple of my mates who've read the book, who went to see it, and they were one of my mates, Sean, actually said to me after we'd been chatting for about half an hour about it, he was like, "Oh, do you know what? I was fucking almost over that, and you've just got me all wound up again." He goes, "I can't believe how shit that was." Like, he's really not happy about it at all. And for similar things to me, just like things in the story that just don't make sense, things that are done that don't make sense, like changes that didn't need to be changed to a modern thing because could have still worked as an 80s thing because everyone knows what that 80s thing is. You know, there's so many. Yeah, I'm going to
watch it again.
Yeah,
definitely going to watch it with the missus.
I definitely will not be watching it again.
The thing that bugs me the most out of the whole movie is the first challenge.
Right.
Because gamers, take about 30 seconds to... It takes gamers as a combined...
community.
About 30 seconds to work anything out ever.
Yeah. Right.
And reversing on a driving game is like one of the first things you do on a driving game, isn't it?
Well, Sean, my mate Sean was saying, like, you know,
you would have worked
within
that out in about 10 seconds.
Gamers would have been like breaking the game down and looking through the scenery and finding ways to break the game to find a way through. And he was like, and also, you get to that point with that, and all he's done is walked along the street in the Oasis, going, "Oh yeah, so the Sixers found the first challenge." What?
Yeah,
like,
I appreciate why they did that.
No, they missed out so much.
They did. Yeah, I know, but it's
just so much.
The first 25% of that book is just him talking about the Oasis.
Yeah, but like they could have still got to the first challenge quickly, but I don't understand why there wasn't still the school planet, and that people in the Oasis, like in real life, have class divisions and stuff.
Yeah,
like there's so much of that made the story more interesting, and it was just dropped for action.
It's a shame that it's not in it, but it should be in it. It's a shame the school stuff was in it. It doesn't matter that it wasn't, though.
I wonder if there are groups of people out there that have the same sort of discussions about filmed versions of Bret Easton Ellis books, because every single book that he does is just massive lists of detail.
Yeah,
and there's no way you can film that.
No. American Psycho's 4% of the book.
Yeah.
Well, but
it's quite a lot of it, but still,
it's 4% of the guts of the detail and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
you know, like you've got a whole chapter in the book on fucking what's his name from the Genesis, Phil Collins. There's literally a whole chapter.
Right.
Like, there's no point in putting a 45-minute section in the film about Phil Collins. That makes no sense at all. So you make the references that do it, and I understand that, and I understand with this film they pick and chose the things of the storyline, but for someone sitting with someone who then afterwards didn't have a fucking clue what had happened in that film because he hasn't read the book, made it very difficult. And I was like, right, well, that's because of this, and he's like, but that wasn't in the film.
I think it's we've probably said all this on the last podcast, but it's unfilmable because it's also not a big enough book to warrant 3 movies.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
like Lord of the Rings always proves, like most films are unfilmable, most books are unfilmable.
Yeah,
but the film that breaks that rule is the one set of films that also should never have worked. Like,
yeah,
I mean, The Lord of the Rings is quite often voted the greatest book ever written, isn't it? It's fucking... There's no getting away from it. It is a tome and a masterpiece. And yet somehow they managed to make a movie
3 films out of it, and then the extended versions.
Apparently, a couple of things that we mentioned in our previous podcast as well, they're in the top 10. So The Man Who Killed... Well, it's not called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, but Don Quixote, Lord of the Rings and Gormenghast,
Yeah. A lot of
massive.
The thing is, you
can
change things from a book to a film version and make a great book. Look at the thing with Matt Damon on Mars.
Martian,
yeah. Like, great adaptation from the book to the film. There's a lot of stuff left out, but it's stuff that isn't necessary.
But
there's not a lot left out of that.
No, but there are bits that are left out. But it's all the stuff of like all of the engineering and calculations and stuff. They have some of it in there, but they don't do all of what's in the book because what's the point?
It suits it. It very much suits.
It suits
that
being
book
a film.
Suits being a film.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with his latest one.
Do you think that would be a good film? They're making it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas, with Ready Player One, you've got a lot of stuff in there that's not needed, but then there's important bits of the story that make more sense.
Ready Player One could just be a TV show.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be brilliant if it was a 10-hour like Band of Brothers style HBO jobby in the style of Bad Robot?
Yeah.
Is it Bad Robot? Is that the one about hacking and video?
Oh, Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot,
Robot's the
yeah.
production company, yeah.
Yeah, because the world wasn't gritty enough and things like that, but they're, you know, you
Have
can
you
kind of
started
look
watching-
past that, but...
Have you started watching Mr. Robot yet, either of you?
I started and gave up. I didn't enjoy
started
it.
and gave up, and my friend Craig, who I keep trying to get on this podcast, nags me all the time. He
Watch it.
says it's
very
fucking
good.
amazing.
It is very
Yeah,
good.
I
And it
kept
is-
going back, but...
It's a retelling of a very, very, very popular film that you will recognise if you carry on with the story. Just go and have go and have another go.
Well, talking about computer-based things, I watched Reboot
Oh, yes.
on Netflix.
Reboot. Please tell me about Reboot.
Well, it's not a reboot of Reboot for a start,
Right.
What is it?
which is what I was worried about.
So it's a sequel?
It's a
Continuation of
carry-on,
some sort?
kind of like Tron and Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy is what the Tron world would look like as computer and technology is advanced, and then is set in the like now compared to when the original Tron was. They've done the same with Reboot. It's like everything inside the world has changed, and is actually more in keeping with the way technology is now, and there's a lot of links back to the original Reboot, including the last episode. There's some really cool stuff to do with the old one.
So it's actually all right.
It's all right, yeah. It's cheesy because it's aimed at kids, same
Yeah.
as the old one was. But I loved the old one when I was a kid, and watching this, I was like, actually, although there's some really like grittingly horrible cheesy moments, like the actual storyline's pretty good. They've got some bloke playing some hacker, like in a hood, being all, "Oh, I'm going to destroy the city and take out the banking system with this virus." And
Is
then
he Dr. Doom?
no, just a guy in a hood. He's not even the hood.
They're inside a computer, aren't they?
They go in, yeah, and then
Isn't Reboot that it's just like you are like there's like
you need to watch this to the
Right,
end of
okay.
it to get why it's okay and does make
Okay.
sense. You know, there's a lot of plot in it. That's the thing. There's character progression. There's a decent enough plot. It is cheesy. You've got to remember it's aimed at kids.
Is it a blatant cross of Power Rangers and Reboot, though?
No,
It's
Is it-
not.
not
Is
in the slightest.
It's kids going into the computer, though, isn't it?
They literally get teleported into the computer system.
Right.
is it a story about
But-
a CPU falling in love with a motherboard while their RAM
But you've also
disapproves?
got the mainframe, which is the place from the original series,
I
like
am
does
the
exist in
mainframe.
it, and like all of the guys that voiced the main bad guy, the main two bad guys that are in it, the animated ones. They are voiced by the people that did the original. It's all made by the people that did the original. Like they've just
Oh, so it is
it's
a bit of a love letter to itself, sort of thing.
definitely. And I really enjoyed it in the end.
I'm not going to watch it, I've got to admit.
No,
'cause
it's cheesy, but I loved
I
it.
missed Reboot because I was slightly too old for it to be relevant to me, I think. And
No,
I didn't
was
enjoy it.
slightly too old, but I love computers, so I
Right.
fucking loved it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got all the
And
action figures because I was slightly too old, but I really enjoyed it
I
anyway.
still to this day have major issues with computer-generated cartoons.
Well, those guys did Beast. The company
Mate,
that made
watch
that
Star
did.
Wars Rebels. That'll change your mind about that.
Where
The guys who made that also did Transformers, Beast Wars,
Yeah.
and quite a few
See,
big,
I missed that because
quite
of
a
the
few
same
big
reasons.
films that you'd know of. They've been involved with.
Right.
They're quite a big company in Canada.
Apparently
they've
Beast
done
Wars is
well.
very good.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem
yeah.
you will struggle with both Reboot and Beast Wars because they look like shit.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do nowadays, yeah.
They because bear in mind they came out about the same time as Toy Story 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On about 1/1,000,000th of the budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like some nerd on his Commodore Amiga.
yeah. If you
I'm
liked it,
rendering Reboot. It is a story about a CPU falling in
Putting
love with
this
a
cartoon
motherboard.
together in Flash.
but if you liked the old Reboot, then it's worth watching to the end, and you'll probably enjoy it in a way of like a nice, like you say, a love letter to the old one.
Right.
If you've never watched the old one and you can handle the dated graphics, it's good fun. It's one of those. It's one of those
just
series.
an episode
that
or
I've-
two to get the premise. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, it's one of those things where, like, the old series is basically there's a load of sprites that live in the mainframe, and the users load in games, and if they get trapped inside where the thing loads in, they become part of the game, and the only way to survive is to beat the user.
Huh.
And that is the whole premise. Them also then fighting Megabyte, who's the main bad guy, and his crazy sister. And yeah, the story revolves around them. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
What have you been watching? I
Me?
could go on with other things, but I think we'll.
If we just do a couple each and then...
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. let's see. Choices. I'll mention Legion season 2, just ever so quick.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I didn't. No.
It's just as mental as the last season. There's nothing.
I just, because it's been a while since the last season, it's that sort of mental where I just felt lost.
Oh, really?
Jilly
didn't get on with it.
I just didn't understand. I was like, I can't remember what happened in the last episode. It's so mental.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. So I kind of...
That's a shame.
I think
I'm
it's
back
one
on
of
board with
those
it straight
where
away.
they should have just done one long series and had all the episodes connected and then ended it. Because I think it's just too crazy to keep working for a lot of people.
They didn't know if it was going to work, though,
Well,
in
yeah,
the first
exactly,
place. It's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? Taking an X-Men character that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah.
You know.
Is American Gods being picked back up?
It's experiencing some problems. So
Right.
they lost their showrunners, who basically went to... Is it Stars that are producing it?
To be honest, as a show, it has got one season wonder written all over it.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, the producers went to the channel that were obviously fronting the money and said to them, right, you've been giving us this much per episode. We want this much per episode or we're leaving. And the channel went, see you later then. And they went, shit. And called their bluff and off they went. Yeah. So season 2, it's supposed to be in production, but might be a while. We'll see. I really like the first season, but it might end up having the same problem. Oh, in actual fact,
you were going, I'm so hard for a Neil
in actual
Gaiman
fact,
thing.
2 more major issues is that Gillian Anderson has said she's not going to be in season 2. Who's the woman that was playing Media?
Yep.
And the woman that was playing...
But they're gods. They can be recast easy.
Yeah, maybe. And the woman that was playing Easter as well in the very last episode.
Yeah, she's in one episode.
Yeah, she's not going to be in it anymore. But she's a fairly, or at least would be moving forward.
Surely there's like a way they could change it so that they've changed their image and look. Because they're gods, aren't they?
The amount of times they recast the little boy in Mad Men's ridiculous.
A very important character in Game of Thrones was recast
several times
with an actor that looked nothing like himself.
Really? You're talking about Dario Onassis.
That's the one, Dario Onassis. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Although the one thing there is the original actor wasn't in it much.
No, true.
And then I think the other guy's better anyway.
Yeah, fair. But it was kind of confusing, like seeing the character, because Game of Thrones is hard enough to keep up with anyway. So when you've got an actor change for any part, I think it's going to throw people. But yeah, jarring for a minute or two. But I watched a film last night, an animated movie called The Little Prince.
Old one or the more recent one?
A couple of years old now.
Because there's about 7 versions of it, that story.
There's 2 films, including this one. One of them made in like the 1980s or something. But yeah, this one is a very different approach. Lots of different book versions.
Yeah.
But this one won the French equivalent of the Oscar. What's that, Ross?
Oscar!
Ballon d'Or? No, that's the football thing, isn't it? Fuck. What you win at Cannes?
No.
No, I had no idea then.
Oh, Caesar. Is it called a Caesar? Anyway.
It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Who cares?
So it won...
What have the French ever done to cinema?
Look, it did this amazing thing that you want Pixar to do, and it won Best Picture as an animated feature.
Yeah, but you'd have to retroactively go back and award it to Wall-E for me to be truly happy.
Either way, that was quite groundbreaking for the director, and he came back home absolutely buzzing. Paramount had all the distribution sorted for it and everything, and then the minute he got off the plane, he got a message to say, actually, they've pulled out. And all of a sudden, he had this amazing movie that had done really well in France and no way to distribute it. So he got it out on Netflix in the end, and they've done kind of I
think I've seen the trailer for this.
An English language version of it.
Yeah.
And the really interesting thing about it is the original story is about a pilot that meets a little boy in the desert, and there are loads of sort of meaningful things in the story that kids will take away, because basically it's a children's book.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah? What, the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So nice, isn't it?
Yeah, really nice. So instead of sticking to the original story of the pilot meeting the prince in the desert, Instead, it's a kind of set in the near future, I suppose, with a little girl who moves into the house next door to the pilot as an old man, and he sends her little bits of the story, like in the mail, or chucks one over the wall as a paper aeroplane, for instance, trying to get her to read it and understand it. And she sort of gets a bit hooked on it and starts ignoring all the things that she's supposed to be doing. And it's really touching, really beautiful. And I can't work out whether it was absolutely amazing or not.
It's half graphics, half stop motion, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
Really
I haven't had a chance to see it.
And interestingly enough, because it's originally been targeted to a French audience, you can tell it was originally a French movie, or like any sort of props and letters and bits of writing that come up are in French.
Right.
But they've reanimated all the mouths so that they're speaking in English, sort of with clarity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, worth a look. Pretty interesting.
There's even
it's on Netflix.
I remember seeing a board game of the original novella a few years ago.
Right.
Someone, French board game company, made a little card game based board game that you play on a table with a few people about based on it, where you sort of build a like an adventure each.
Right.
Sort of in the same style as the book was written. So there's lots of different versions of it over the years in different forms.
I'm too busy, just talking of board games, right? I'm too busy to play it, but there's basically Star Wars Warhammer's come out.
Yeah.
Now, hasn't it?
Oh, really?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love the look of it,
well,
but it's too expensive for me to start getting into that.
Yeah.
Star Wars Warhammer.
How is it price wise compared to Warhammer?
I'd say it's a little tiny bit cheaper,
but
still expensive.
The problem
so you can get like 2 speeder bikes with scout troopers on, and I think it's about 25 quid.
The thing is with Warhammers, the quality of their miniatures are like light years ahead of anyone else's, aren't they?
These look really good.
They look better than Imperial Assault stuff.
Yeah.
What's it called, this game? I want to have a look.
It's called Star Wars Legion.
Yeah.
Star Wars Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look amazing. Like, there's the base core set where you get like Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker, some Rebels versus Stormtroopers, and then you can get like Chicken Walkers, Snow Speeders, and like a...
And the Scout Walker's pretty big as well, isn't it? It's bigger than the one from Imperial Assault. It's only about 4 inches, and this is more like 8, isn't it?
Massive.
10, 12.
Yeah. And then various snow troopers and that and other stuff.
The problem I've got is I'd want to play the Empire because of their vehicles, but I couldn't be asked to paint stormtroopers again. I painted 9 stormtroopers for Imperial Assault, and just painting white armour is just the shittest thing. It's so hard to get like highlight on the white.
All I'd want to do is build
whatever colour you like. Do them as Death Troopers.
Yeah.
The whole
black.
Painting black's boring as well.
I'd rather.
Black and white are
the thing is, for me, I'd rather buy the core set and then maybe a snow speeder and some snow troopers and make a diorama and put it inside a glass case and just enjoy the fact that I've painted them well enough and built the scenery. I wouldn't want to. I can't be bothered to play games like that. They're too rules depth.
That's why I like Imperial Assault, because I get to paint the figures, and it's enough of a board game that people play it with me.
Yeah.
The figures look very good. I'm just looking at Google now.
Yeah.
They look pretty cool. They look comparable to stuff from Warhammer.
Easily. From what I've seen so far of what people put up online of what they've painted that aren't the ones made by the company, they look great.
The new Warhammer stuff is so good that you can... some of the models barely have even any mould lines on them. It's ridiculous, the detail they get. Because they CAD-CAM it now, don't they? Yeah. So they design the miniature on a computer, and then they're able just to send that straight to a mould. It's the level of detail.
They still have a couple of designers that build them in big, and then they laser it down to... like with computer to small.
Do they bother doing that?
They've got a couple of guys that still work that way,
Traditionalists.
Yeah.
Anywho, right, quickly then, the last thing to talk about is Future Man, which is... the
series?
The Seth Rogen series. We mentioned it in our last podcast, actually. It's about a guy who is... it's the guy that plays Peter in Hunger Games. And he's basically really good at a computer game. Yeah. And like nobody's ever beaten this first-person perspective computer game, shoot 'em up jobby. And he's addicted to it, so he plays it all the time. And one day he completes it. And then people from the future turn up and go, hey, it was all a training mission. You're coming with us.
So it's basically...
It's the Last Starfighter.
Starfighter.
And it pokes fun at itself for being a rip-off of the Last Starfighter.
Is it comedy?
It is comedy.
Is it a TV show or a movie?
It's a TV show. It's on Hulu.
Is it half an hour or 45?
Yeah.
Half hour or 45 minutes?
I think they were 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Quite painful 45 minutes as well.
Really?
In actual fact.
Not very good.
I've got to say that this thing has got so much promise, and I think the character acting in it is brilliant, but Jesus, somebody really needs to sort that shit out as far as the editing is concerned.
Oh, really?
It's very, very choppy, and the pace is quite bad. I think, yeah, it doesn't do it any justice, and it actually affected the my enjoyment of the show.
I think Seth Rogen and his team should probably stick to doing Preacher.
Yeah, maybe.
They've done quite a good job with that. Maybe they need to stay...
I've not been on to season 2 yet, but...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Loads of arse face?
Yeah.
I do not give a shit about that show.
That's great.
Didn't finish the comic either.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it is quite hard going.
It's the greatest 10 volumes of a comic.
But if you go back and read it now...
It's not very nice, is it?
Fresh-eyed.
Oh, I've reread it recently and I love it. It's great. It's not the greatest artwork in the world, but it works for what the story it's telling.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, so future, not necessarily gonna...
I'm
Everybody's
probably not going to
in
continue
it,
with it. In what?
In Preacher.
In Preacher.
Yeah,
okay.
Everybody's abhorrent.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
I hate it.
It's like real humanity.
Even the good guys are bad guys. And the bad guys are especially bad guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, are you going to go back and watch more?
I'm probably not going to watch anymore, I don't think.
How many did you watch?
I've fallen out of love with this and Final Space as well.
Yeah, I haven't even...
Both.
When's Lost in Space out?
Oh, at the end of this month.
Oh, yeah, I think I want to watch that. I like the trailer.
It's out the same day as Avengers Infinity War.
27th of April, then, that'll be.
Ooh. I'm quite excited about
What an exciting weekend that'll be.
Avengers Infinity War will finish, though, after 2 episodes. So it's not an infinity. It's just a war.
This is true. Anywho, right. That's it, isn't it? Should we get out of here?
Yeah.
If you want to check out anything that we do outside of the podcast, please go and have a look for some links on our Facebook page, perhaps. You can find loads of stuff there. Honourable mentions for Libsyn and Stitcher.
Libsyn and Stitcher, the showrunners of American Gods, currently unemployed.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And please go back and have a listen to our other podcasts as well. You can find us on all sorts of platforms, everywhere you'd expect. If you fancy having a little Google of Snoo with the Crew, you'll find a load of links. So thanks very much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
See you later, guys. Thank you ever so much.
There are you shitheads.